Siege peasy.
So I started off with the default cube, deleted the top and bottom face, and added some loop cuts to make a funky little archway shape. And then in edit mode, I press A to select all, moving the entire mesh away from its origin point, trying to make the top of the mesh as close to the level of the ground as possible. Then select the top loop cut, click on the spin tool, change it to the y-axis, and left click on the plus to move it to the direction you want your arch to go. Then click the arrow in the bottom left corner where it says spin, increase the steps for a smoother curve, and change the angle to 90 degrees, or in my case, minus 90 degrees. Then we need to come back into object mode so we can add a beautiful mirror modifier. Change the axis to Y, click merge, and increase the merge size until you see the two pieces of archway joining together. And once you're happy with that, we go back into edit mode. We can then select the two loop cuts at the bottom of the archway, extruding them to the length you desire so the archway is finished. Okay, and for the second archway, we've taken the loop cut from the top of the last mesh, duplicated it, and separated it into its own mesh. We then need to add a mesh circle, scale it up, and rotate it 90 degrees. And once you've done that, we come back into edit mode, and delete the edges from the bottom of the circle. Then take the bottom vertices, and give the archway a little bit of a different shape from the other one. That is the bonus of this method, as you can get different shaped archways than just a curve. And back in object mode, I stretch the archway out just a little bit, and add a subdivision surface modifier on there so that it smooths out my beautiful archway. Then come over to the object panel and convert this mesh to a curve. Then select your other mesh, which is the shape of the archway, and convert that to a curve also. Now select the archway again and come over to the curve properties. And under geometry and bevel, click on where it says object. Then click on the empty box that says object and select your other curve. If it comes out too large, just scale down the profile curve. And you might not see any pattern on there, you just need to rotate the entire archway 180 degrees. And that is your second archway finished. Now it's time for the third option. I have pre-created this long mesh, which has a reoccurring pattern all the way along. And you have to make sure it has enough geometry in order to curve it. Then you can go to Modifiers, Simple Deform, and select Bend. You then need to change it to the Z-axis and increase the angle to around 180 degrees. Go to Viewport and change it to Top View. And back on the modifier, click on where it says Restrictions, change the bottom limit to around 0.8, and change the top limit to around 0.2. To make sure we get the edges of the archway straight, you add a mesh plane to either side of the archway. Then you just need to play around with the restrictions at the angle until the archway is level and you get the shape that you desire. I ended up with 0.1 and 0.9 on restrictions and 181 degrees on the angle. But depending on the size of your mesh, the restriction amount might not be the same. And that's 3 different ways to make a medieval archway inside Blender. If you liked the content, or even if you didn't, please like and subscribe. And for inspiration purposes, please enjoy my beautiful medieval archway animation with background music.